Hello, everyone. It's MV broadcasting from Cardiff, Wales. It's now 11:47 at night, so I'm going to try and fit in a couple, maybe two games maximum, not including Sims. So we've had a great start to the league. Yesterday, Steve Tate did 2 days of the league, and earlier on today, I did a short preview of the teams. I think I missed one. So I'm going to start off this broadcast before I do the games. I went through every single team except the Des Moines Demons, which I'll have great fun doing. So Des Moines Demons, in terms of their lineup, and I'll go through their depth chart. Let's start off with their catching position. Ray Schalk, good catcher, Hall of Famer, one of the former Red Bolts, not the best offensively. Ray Schalk is coming from what season? The 1913 season. He has a 6-catcher arm, a passed ball rate of 2, so not gonna be totally effective in terms of passed ball anyway. Decent arm, an all-round catcher, OPS 83. He's backed up by a 19th century player, Deadpool player, Boiler Yard Clark, who is from 1901, a catcher arm of 5, overall catch of 2, so not the best. Not the best. He can bat. I mean, he's got a batting average. His on base is. But you never know in this league. People surprise you. Second baseman is a future Hall of Fame, I believe. Bobby Grich, ex-California Angel, Baltimore Oriole, coming from the 1975 season. And he's going to, it says, Wrigley Field. Interesting. So his current field is Wrigley Field. So Bobby Grich, has got a great power versus lefties. Can bunt, can hit, can base, run on the bases, do the fundamentals of the game. And he's got a double play pivot of 8. So all-round 10 for Bobby Grich. So that infield looking good already. Harlan Clift, one of my favorite players I did not know before I started messing with Beatles eternally. Steve Tate, Big Clue, Ken Castro, all of these guys. I didn't know who Harlan Clift was. I have some limited knowledge of baseball, of course. I wouldn't say I'm an amateur. But at the same time, I did not know who Harlan Clift was. And he performed in this league. Good choice, good pick. Third baseman, 9. Power versus left, power versus right. Can run on the bases. A bit of a fly ball hitter. A spray hitter. And playing at Wrigley, so this should do well for him. Let's say shortstop. They've got Edgar Renteria. Edgar, I predict to do very well. He's a 10. So look at that combination at short and second. Edgar Renteria is a 10 shortstop. Good power versus left. Can hit and run. Base run. Double play pivot. A good player to come off the bench or start. Yeah, good player. Edgar Renteria. I don't think he had a long career, Edgar Renteria, in my memory. So I'm sure I was playing around with out on the park baseball recently, and I was looking at him. But he's a 10. And combine it with Bobby Grich, it's going to be tough up the middle. Playing left field or depth in left field is... let me go back a step. I missed someone. Yeah, the backups. Bill Bradley, don't know who that is. He's coming from 1904. Bill Bradley. Shortstop, I did miss Edgar Renteria. Then you've got the very loud Jim Fregosi, but he's not playing. He's on the bench. Double play pivot, 7. Shortstop, 7. Good power in against lefties. Charlie Hollicher, 1918. Shortstop, double play pivot, 7. Then this is a Negro League I do know of. Bonnie Serrell, second baseman, 7. Overall rating. Not the best arm when he goes into the outfield. He's got power versus right. He can bunt. He can base run. Fly spray hitter. 24 years old. Bats from the left. Good player to have in the team. Left fielder, Bullet Joe Rogan. Now he should be in the rotation also. Famed Negro Leaguer. I think Bullet Joe is actually a Hall of Famer. I'm sure he is. Bullet Joe Rogan. He can start. He can relieve. He can close. Out for harm 6. Got a good fastball, ground ball pitcher, hit power lefty and righty, can bunt, Base run, he can do it all. This is a 20-year-old Bullet Joe Rogan. OPS of 131. In center field, Andrew Jones, Gold Glover, coming from 2005. So Des Moines, I've seen Des Moines. I did an exhibition with him the other day. Looking good. Outfield arm 7. Can cover the grass pretty well. And in right field, apart from Bullet Joe Rogan, is the powerful Giancarlo Stanton. And this is a 2017 Giancarlo. He's a right fielder that's rated 8 with a 7 outfield arm. Great power in both sides of the plate. And they have Frank Robinson also in this side. This is a young Cincinnati Red, Frank Robinson, coming from 1962. Power from both sides. Great arm. Not the greatest range. It surprised me just a little bit. But then, what do I know? I know who Frank Robinson is. I know how great he was. Hall of Famer, etc., etc., etc. First black manager in the major leagues. And all of that stuff. Great leader, a Baltimore Oriole. I just assumed he was quicker than that. Who else have they got? Todd Helton. The Colorado Rocky. Does Todd Helton deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? So Des Moines is one of those teams that defensively, great up the middle, great at third base, great at first base. The outfielders in terms of defense is so average, I feel. The pitching, if anyone knows me and knows why I'm chuckling just a little bit, it's because I cannot stand Cy Young. And there he is. Luckily for Des Moines manager Rob, Cy Young is injured. You've had a bit of a breather there. But Cy Young is actually coming from one of his better years. I think his best year is 1902. This is 1892, Cy Young. And he's got a whip of 1.062. And that's pretty good. He's got Silver King, a man I've only recently started to read about. He's going to do well in this league. 876 whip. Ooh, good Lord, good luck with that. He's also got lefty Steve Carlton. This is a prime Steve Carlton, 1972 Steve Carlton, where he went 27-10 with a 1.97 ERA, 174 ERA plus. They've got Steve riding the pine. They've got Jack Feaster as well, not even a full starter. What's interesting about this lineup is the amount of spot starters he's got. So he's got King, Young, Carlton, Mort Cooper, and is that King Felix Hernandez? Yep, Felix Hernandez, 915 whip. He went 15-6 in 2014, 174 ERA plus. So Des Moines does have some pitching. It's interesting how Rob has moved his team around. Feaster's a great pitcher, in my opinion. Bullet Joe Rogan will be interested to see how Negro Leaguers perform. It looks like he's got Gary Peters as well. So a real overload on the lineup. In terms of closing, he's got Feaster closing. David Cone in setup. And is that Ray Brown? Now, Ray Brown, I think that's the Negro Leaguer. I'm sure there's a very interesting story about Ray Brown. There was a Brown, there's two Browns. There's a Dave Brown and a Ray Brown. One of the Browns, I think of Ray, or I think it was Dave actually, disappeared after 1944, never to be seen again, only to reappear as someone else 20 years later. It's either Dave Brown or Ray Brown, but I think Ray Brown is the Negro League Hall of Famer. He's good in the clutch. I like the way that Rob has looked at that clutch rating. Makes me want to think about my own, actually. So there's Des Moines. Apologies to Rob, because I think I missed him out in the scouting report before. I didn't do my own one. Let me have a quick look again. I won't change anything. The one that concerns me is Cy Morgan. Now, why does this guy not perform when he's got everything set up to perform? Someone like Silver King, who's from the same era, maybe, is a whip of 1.043. Yet this guy gives up home runs like he's a Tiger Woods golf ball, flying out into the sunset. Something hit by John Daly, it's gone. Francisco Rodriguez, Also, you should expect him to do well, but whatever the reason, doesn't do well in my park. That's the reason. The park effects do affect people. And if you want to see my rotation, very thin. DeGrom, Greinke, Chandler, Marichal, who I traded for the left arm of God, Sandy Koufax, and there's Guy Hecker. Now, Hecker is the star. And I've been penalized by Steve. I know. To be fair, it was kind of a ringer in a way, but I didn't know who Guy Hecker was. I did my research long ago. I just kept him and waited for him to come to me, and he did. And I got him. Now, later on, if we ever do another one, if we do keepers, I would keep Hecker because he has a great career. But he's become one of my favorites of all time already. And I've been following baseball since 1981, maybe. No, 78, 77. And Hecker's in my top 10 already favorite players of all time. Hecker's got a whip of 769. But he only played 11 games. So what Steve has wisely done, and I must say with a lot of rope, he's created a rule. We went through this just a little while ago on Discord, where I was able to share my screen with Steve. And here are the rules, just in case you want to mirror these here. We didn't put bullpen warm-up on. We did catcher fatigue, so we went through all of these things just to make sure we're all on the same page. So Beatles, if you do see this, this is what we're doing. We can, of course, export the league file. Okay, so, what's that say? Dive and risky play manager options. Oh yeah, I like that. So we did put a usage penalty on, which is on. So Hecker can only go 150% of his reel, and then he starts to fade. Hence why I only put him in a spot starter position. And I'm hoping, against all hope, I'm hoping that rotation stays injury-free. If not, we're really in trouble, because we'll have to bring Kurt Schilling and maybe reactivate Roger Clemens. Both outstanding pitchers, just not in this park. So, we're going to come to the first game of the day, so I just want to tidy up the Des Moines scouting report and let's get the Bulls games going. So if you give me 2 ticks, I will be set up here, and we are good to go. So, here we go. Just setting myself up. There we go. Yep, I'm all set. And if you missed the broadcast, if you wanted to broadcast earlier, apologies if I made it short and sweet. But here we go. So we go to play games, scheduled league games. This is what we have today. So we've got Arlington and Badlands going first the day before, just to recap. And recap Friday, which is the first game. Jersey beat North-South 6-1. Detroit over Badlands 8-6. Bob Gibson getting the win over Tiant. Bonds hit 3 home runs in that one for Detroit. Then the opening day for Cleveland. Cleveland, the team to watch. I think that's Ray Brown with the win over Wheatman for Arlington. So Cleveland gets the win on their opening day. Des Moines were at home to Hawaii. And Verlander came in and beat Silver King 4-1. And Mudville and Manchester went at it in the broadcast game. And Pete Alexander beat Jacob deGrom in a very interesting game. The Beatles revealed his desire to win the league. Great team with Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Willie Keeler and all sorts in that team. Second day, Detroit extended their lead to 2-0 and beat Des Moines 4-3. Jersey lost to North Sound in Game 2. Yep, to Frank Tanana taking the loss, Wright taking the win. Badlands beat Arlington, Rube Waddell over Warneke, and it was 7-3. Lefty Grove took the victory for Hawaii over Cleveland and Baldwin. And in the game that was broadcast yesterday, as we saw, Zach Greinke beat Leon Day 5-1. That's a good home run, a cold home run, by the way. for Alex Rodriguez. That was a good game. So, here we go. I'm hoping I press my record on. It is on. Let's go. So, we'll also play the Sentinels, Badlands Sentinels, against Arlington. Close ball game, big scoring ball game there. Arlington edges it 12-10. Box score, please. The box score says, wow, Robbie's team really does need to be worked on because Vaughan gave up 18 hits and stayed in the ball game. I think this might be because Robbie's just not been around for us to tinker with his team. So, Robbie, if you're out there, if you've got a girlfriend, that's all good. If you are free, I think you're working a lot at the moment, then pop in and see what we can do to adjust your AI. Badlands took the loss. Rhines took the loss. Imagine that. They gave up 18 hits and still won. Wow. In this game, for the Sentinels, Garrick went 4 for 5, Pete Rose 2 for 4, Chris Bryant 2 for 5, and in a losing effort for Arlington, Hank Greenberg went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. So we come to the next game, Mudville against North Sound. If I remember correctly, that's Beatles Eternally versus John. Here we go. Ramsey versus Ellsworth, and Mudville go up to get to a 2-1 record now, as they beat North Sound 2-1 tight ball game. If you look at the box score for this one, here we are. Ramsey took the loss, pitched 8 innings, tight ball game that one. Both pitchers went the full distance. Ty Cobb was 1 for 4. Babe Herman went 2 for 4. Babe Herman tends to do well in this league. So that's that one done. So now we come to today's games. If I get it all set up now then. So, here we go. I'm not going to play my game. I'm just going to auto it out. Well, it's MV versus Clue. Hello, Clue. And Big Clue's Jersey take the victory 4-2. Whitey Ford over Spud Chandler. Cash went 1 for 2 with a triple and a walk. Bad start for Manchester. We don't want bad starts. Detroit and Des Moines, we're going to leave because that's Gooden versus Carlton. That will be the game we play today. So we move on. Here's another big matchup. Arlington and Badlands. Walter Johnson versus Ron Gator Guidry. And a close one. Again, both pitchers going the distance. It looks like. I could be wrong. I think I am wrong. But Badlands take the victory. Pitching. Nope. Walter Johnson went 6 innings, gave up 11 hits for Arlington. Badlands takes a victory to now go 500 for the season. Ron Guidry takes the win. So, there's 2 teams there. Done. Another one now is Hawaii at Cleveland. Cleveland takes the victory. Lincecum gets the loss. McQuillan gets the win. Albert Bell, who we know plays very well in this league, goes 4 for 4 with a home run. Wow. So the last one before we get to the main event is Reynolds versus Bieber. North Sound versus Mudville. Mudville looking to get off to a great start to the season. Looking to go to 3-1. North Sound trying to get to 500. And Mudville gets off to another victory. 3-1. Mudville looking good so far. Bieber with the win. Reynolds with the loss. Beatles Eternally will be very happy with this. Here we go. Looking at it. Reynolds, this is Ali Reynolds, went 8 innings, gave him 11 hits. Bieber went 6 innings, but Rudy May came in and got the save. And Beatles Eternal will be very happy. A great lineup he's got. Fox went 1 for 3. Willie Keeler 2 for 5. And Evans 1 for 4. Stuffy. Stern West 1 for 3. And Ryan Braun 1 for 4. The North Sound Lumberjacks go down to Mudville. So now we come to the main event. Steve Tate's 2-0 Detroit team versus Des Moines Demons. And we're going to play this one. Okay, I've got everything set. Des Moines, I'll be the human. So Detroit versus Des Moines. Des Moines at home to Detroit. So let's get the lineup in. So it's going to be Carlton and Gooden. So Gooden's a right-hander, so Des Moines need to load up their right-handed. He's set his team already. So that's Clift, leadoff, Burns, Robinson. That's the right-handers because they're facing Doc Gooden. Their pitcher is going to be Steve Carlton. Double check to make sure. He is free, hasn't pitched yet. He's already used Silver King and Cy Young. So yes, it's Steve Carlton. Steve Carlton will pitch today. Old lefty. So far that's worked, thank God. View opponent. And Steve Carlton's a lefty, so we have to load lefty lineup. Oh, Steve Tate doesn't have his lefty lineup. So Steve, for some reason, your lefty lineup has not come in, so I'll just do that. That doesn't look right. Do computer versus left. That looks better, but let's see. And you're versus a lefty. Hey, World's Worst Gamer, how you doing? Russ Ford gonna win his first start, no shocker. Russ Ford is pretty good. So, it didn't carry Steve's lineup for some reason. Everyone else has been fine so far. So he will start. According to his rotation, Gibson's gone already. Also, Mike Scott's gone already, so we already know it's Gooden. So Dwight Gooden, this is 1985. Dwight Gooden. Oh, what a season he had that year. Are we ready? Carlton versus Gooden. I just want to double check for Steve because he has made a few people inactive. Now, Wilmot starting for Steve versus lefties. Steve, if you're watching, it doesn't have a lefty lineup saved. But I'm going to see if you need anything here that I would do differently. Not in terms of lineup, but in terms of who's starting. I'll check your depth chart versus lefties. Lineup, it's saying Wilmot at left field. Yes, you want Wilmot. Okay, that looks good. That's actually according to how you want it. That's fine. Third base. Let's check third base. Third base. You want Snow. Felton Snow. Okay. So Detroit Coyotes look like they're set up. It doesn't save his lineup, but that's what his depth chart says. And I go with the depth chart. And the computer picked depth charts. And I think depth chart means a lot. That's kind of what you want. Here we go. Welcome to Wrigley Field for today's game between Detroit and Des Moines. Dwight Gooden will start for Detroit. He'll be making his first start of the year. He'll be opposed by Steve Carlton for Des Moines. He's also making his first. That's 54 degrees. The wind speed is 18 miles per hour, right to left. Beautiful day here in Wrigley Field. Detroit off to a great start, 2-0. Des Moines are 0-2. They want to get out of the hole today. So let's take a look at the Des Moines Demons as they take the field. They're at home today. Behind the plate is Ray Schoch. First base is Todd Helton. Second base is Bobby Grich. Third base, or shortstop, is Edgar Renteria. Third place, the mystery man for me, Harlan Clift. Left field is Frank Robinson. Center field is Andrew Jones. And in right field, Giancarlo Stanton. So, we're ready to play, and leading off for Detroit Coyotes is Wilmot. That is Walt Wilmot from 1894. So Ken Castro will be pleased. Walt Wilmot, a 19th century player, and there are some real batting gems in the 19th century, which I really like now. So Steve Carlton on the mound. Steve Carlton from 1972, where he went 27 and 10. He has a good fastball, can hold the runners, a decent clutch, but his speciality is that fastball. He has a 174 ERA plus coming from 1972. So that's a good Steve Carlton. So here we go. I will press CPU. Me and World's Worst Gamer have some memories about it, don't we, Worlds? Yep, so hopefully more people come because they're coming home from work in the US, whereas I am at midnight going plus to 1 o'clock, time I finish. Here we go. Welcome to Wrigley. Shock, watching Carlton just finish as he looks around the field. Oh, 1 is the count now from Steve Carlton. And a shallow fly ball to left field, and Frank Robinson will catch it. That's 1 away. Good field here at good crowd at Wrigley. Let me just play around with my options, just a touch. And we want some sound. We want some sound effects. Ambient crowd. I can't remember which one's loudest. That's it. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Worlds. I hope you're doing well. Here we go. Fred Dunlap now. He is the man, World's Worst Gamer, that comes into bat. And he is a find. First offer from Carlton. Fly ball to left field. Gold glove. Andrew Jones has it. 2 away. So Des Moines have a good defense out there today. Barry Bonds comes in from the left-hand side, batting .375 already. 1-1 the count from Carlton. And a line drive to right field. Stanton will have it. And Barry Bonds opens up with a single. So Barry Bonds a threat to steal. And that brings up Mark McGwire, who historically, throughout all the simulations we tried, this is his 70 home run season, the 1998 season. He should do well. Welcome to everybody who's joining after dinner, coming home from work, listening on the radio, listening on whatever they're listening on. This is the Detroit Coyotes at the Des Moines Demons at Wrigley Field. McGwire waits, runner on first. Charlton checks the runner. Here's the 0-1. Hit to the left and deep. Could this be? Robinson chasing back, but he has it at the fence. So McGwire gives that one a ride and shows his awesome power. All natural, of course. Out to left field, and Robinson had enough speed on the track to take it. So the end of the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors after 1/2 inning. Detroit nothing, Des Moines coming to bat. Leading off is a man I like very much, Harlan Clift. Clift waits, and on the mound, my actually all-time favorite player, Dwight Eugene Gooden. Everyone can remember that spectacular 84 rookie season. And then 85 came along, which was just a devastating season for Gooden. The Mets lost out to the Cardinals in that National League East race. But Dwight Gooden went 24-4 with a 1.5 ERA. Wow. Dr. K. Remember those red placards out in right field? As Doc Gooden, who he was the star of that team, along with Darryl Strawberry, Gary Carter, Keith Hernandez, Wally Backman. Yes, Wally Backman. Rafael Santana, Ray Knight. And in left field in those days would have been probably Mookie Wilson. And he had Lenny Dykstra, Darryl Strawberry, what's the guy at shortstop, his name? Second baseman Tim Teufel. It was a colorful team with Roger McDowell, Doug Sisk, Jesse Orosco, Rick Darling, Rick Aguilera. You can tell I'm a Mets fan. Sid Fernandez, Bobby Ojeda. Just an awesome, awesome team. Here's good now. That big old wind-up. He was schooled by Mel Stottlemyre. He was actually coached in the minor leagues by Davey Johnson. Cliff waiting patiently for me to shut up. And a line drive to center field, left center field by Harlan Clift. So Des Moines get off to a good start. Clift is on base. Clift is on first. That brings up George Burns. George Burns batting second is a DH. He's coming from 1926. George Burns had a 135 OPS. He waits as Gooden goes into his extravagant windup. Here's the 0-1. And Gooden will field it, and Dunlap has it at first. So it was only hit in front of the base as a bunt. Gooden fielded pretty well for his rating. He's only a 3. And that's 1 away. Brings up Frank Robinson. Frank at the plate from the right-hand side. Gooden goes into his windup. 2-1 the count. Runner on second. And a deep fly ball to left center. Gone. Wilmot jumped high in the air to that one. And Gooden gives up a tater early on, a 2-run home run. So Frank Robinson gets Des Moines off to a great start. And Gooden looks a little bit forlorn there. Wasn't expecting that early on. But in this league, anything can happen to take you down. That brings up Giancarlo Stanton. Steps in. 3-0 from Gooden. Way inside, and Stanton will go to first base. So Gooden not looking too good here. Don't lose his confidence. It's Todd Helton, from the left-hand side. Bench puts the sign down. 1-0 from Gooden. Gooden sets. And a line drive to second straight to Fred Dunlap. Dunlap tries to double up Stanton, and he gets him. So Stanton called up first base. Great play by Fred Dunlap. And the Coyotes get away with it one there. But the Demons go up ahead 2-0. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 1, Des Moines 2, Detroit nothing. Detroit are one of the favorites for the league this season. Yes, Rafael Santana was the light-hitting shortstop for the New York Mets. I think Kevin Elster was back up. Also, Howard Johnson was also a shortstop backup for the Mets at the time. Howard Hojo became a power hitter later on. They also had Kevin Mitchell as well, who could play short. Became a really powerful hitter, I think, for the Padres and the Giants, I think. But here's Joe DiMaggio. Joe will make contact. So in one account, well hit down the right field line. Stanton at the Ivy, and he takes the catch. So 1 away here. Brings up hammering Hank Aaron. What a lineup this is from Detroit. Bonds, McGuire, DiMaggio, Allen, bench for power. And the 2 19th century players, which seems to be the way everyone's going, at the top of the order, which makes sense. Here's Aaron now. Carlton stares in. 2-1 count. Grounded to Renteria. Deep in the hole across the diamond. Got him. 2 away. Great play by Edgar Renteria there. Here's Johnny Bench at the plate. Carlton goes into his motion. 2-1 the count. A grounder between third and short, and Johnny Bench will get on. Bench a threat to steal as a catcher. And that brings up, I keep thinking JT Snow. It's Felton Snow, one of the better third basemen in the Negro Leagues. So Steve Tate has put together these wonderful photo cards. I'm hoping the volume... Worlds, can you tell me if the volume is good enough? I think I was playing around with it. I can't remember if I turned it up or down. Not my volume, but the volume of the field. Just want to make sure people can hear the sound effects. Here we go. So here's Snow. Waits for it. Here's Carlton. First pitch from Carlton. Bench is going for second. And Bench is safe. It does seem a little quiet. So I'm going to go the other way. Because I generally can't remember which sounds are the highest. Setting. Yeah, that's better. So here's Snow. Felton Snow at the plate still. 1-0, the count. Carlton, a lefty, goes into his motion. Gets a sign from Shock. Kicks and delivers up the middle to Gritch. Gritch ranges to his right, turns around over to Helton, and that is out. Nice backhanded play by Bobby Gritch at second base. No runs, one hit, no errors. That brings up Des Moines at the bottom of the second, led up by Andruw Jones. Gooden trying to regain his poise here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Shot down the first base line, and that's foul. Andruw Jones comes into this game on the back of a historic 51 home run season for him, but he was only a 263 hitter. 2-2 to count, and Gooden gets his first punch out of the day. So Doc gets going now with a strikeout count. And that brings up Bobby Gritch from the right-hand side. Second baseman Bobby Gritch. Gritch can hit. Gritch to the plate. Here's a 3-2 from Doc, and he gets him, struck him out. Gooden now trying to get himself warm, trying to get himself going. He is a strikeout machine. And that brings up Edgar Renteria. He steps in as the 0-1, and Edgar sends it to McGuire, and that's an out. So McGuire moved and got it to Gooden. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 2 complete, the Des Moines Demons lead the fancied Detroit Coyotes 2-0. Leading off for Detroit is Dave Concepcion, light-hand hitter, shortstop, one of the Big Red Machine. Wilmot's in the deck. There's the 0-2, smash straight at Carlton. Carlton grabs it and throws across to Helton, and that is a 1 out. So Steve Tate has lovingly put his team together as he tries to go for the trophies, or at least the playoffs. This is a convoluted league insofar as talent. There's so much talent in the league. Anyone could win it. Here's Walt Wilmot here. Seems to have been inserted lately. A fly ball to right center field. Jones is going back near the wall and makes the catch. Need to just adjust Andruw Jones. Some of these park layouts are disturbed just a little bit. And now that brings up Fred Dunlap, a man who will hit all day long. So 2 out here at the top of the 3rd inning. Carlton will go into his windup, 3-2 count. And up and in, and a walk to Dunlap, a dangerous player. Potential MVP Fred Dunlap. And that brings up Barry Bonds from the left-hand side. So Barry Bonds DHing today. He's 1 for 1. Carlton will go into his windup. Here's the 0-1 count. Bonds hits a ground ball up the line. And he gets a double. And Dunlap will get to 3rd. So good running there by Barry Bonds. Stanton has some trouble grabbing the ball in right field. And now Detroit have runners in scoring position on 3rd and 2nd. So here's Mark McGuire, a man who can just blast it and get this game wide open. But 2 out here for Detroit. Demons trying to shut it down with Carlton. Sharp puts a sign down. There's a 2-2 from Steve Carlton. Struck him out. So Steve Carlton gets out of the inning for Des Moines, a lefty, and that brings up Des Moines at the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's Ray Schalk. So Wells was saying, he can't hear the sound effect. Yeah, I was just asking you. I think I've turned them up now, so hopefully you should be able to hear them now. Because I just lost which one was loudest and which one was short, because on my headphones I can hear them. Here we go. That's better. Here's Ray Schalk at the plate. Schalk will start the inning. Here's the 1-0 from Dwight Gooden. And grounded to Concepcion, who gets it across to McGuire, and that is the first out of the inning. Good. We're going to try and keep it close from here on in. Here's Harlan Clift. Singled and scored in the first, 3-1 count, and Gooden lost him. So Harlan Clift goes to first base, and that now brings up George Burns. George Burns, one of the players from 1926. Gooden waits for him on the rubber. Here's the 2-1. And Harlan is going, and Burns will hit this foul. So Cliff took off there. 1 out. It's a hit and run call. Runner on first. Here's the 2-2 from Doc. Line to right center field. Aaron coming in will let it fall, and Cliff will get to second. So a single there for Burns. So Des Moines have 2 men on. And that brings up Frank Robinson. Frank from the right-hand side. Gooden looks at him from the rubber. Bench puts the sign down. 1-1 the count. And Robinson hits it straight back to Doc Gooden, who throws it over to Felton Snow at third, and they get the lead runner at third. Heads up play by Dwight Gooden and Felton Snow. Brings up more power for Des Moines in Giancarlo Stanton. Bench puts the sign down. Gooden waits. Stanton's ready. Here's a 2-2. Struck him out, so Dwight Gooden gets his third strikeout. And that takes us to the 4th inning now. Detroit still trailing the Des Moines Demons by 0-2. So Des Moines have a 2-run lead. On the mound for them is lefty Steve Carlton. He's looked good today so far. He's had 3 innings pitched and had given up 3 hits with 1 strikeout. But doesn't look to have been in any trouble. But here's Joe DiMaggio looking to make things worse. 1-2 to DiMaggio. A long fly ball to right. Stanton should have it and makes the out. So, Des Moines looking very good at the moment. So here we go, just looking at that ballpark. Wrigley Field. For some reason, some of my stuff is moving around. That's too high, so let's just drop that down. What I like about Action is that you can do this, just kind of move it around a little bit better than Appa's one, where I think you have to press Control-C or something like that. I do like Appa as well, Appa Baseball for Windows. But just fix the stadium just a little bit. Every time I get a new file, it seems to shift. That's better. There we go. So Carlton now in Schock, ready? Ray Schock, the Hall of Fame catcher for the White Sox or the Black Sox. Aaron waits. He steps in. Schock gets a sign, so gives a sign. Here's a 2-1. Grounded up the middle. Great play by Edgar Renteria. Nice diving play over to first, and that's what Des Moines have. Around that second base and shortstop, Edgar Renteria and Bobby Grich, and then Todd Helton at first. And Cliff, this may be the best infield in the league. Andrew Jones in center field, Ray Schock behind the plate, and Giancarlo Stanton also complement that defense. Frank Robinson may be the weak one in terms of range, but his arm is a 9. Well-constructed team. So here's Johnny Bench come up now. Snow is on deck if he gets on. Here's the 1-2. And he got hold of this one Bench, and that one is gone. Johnny Bench. Home run number 2 for Johnny Bench. And the Detroit team goes up. Gets 1 run on the board. So Des Moines' lead is cut to 1. Carlton just gave up a blast to Johnny Bench. It brings up Felton Snow, a contact hitter, coming from the right-hand side, Negro Liga. Carlton goes into his windup. Here's the 1-2. Grounded to Clift. Clift across to Helton. And that is the end of the inning to retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. After 3.5, Des Moines 2, Detroit 1. I'm liking this Des Moines team because of their defensive qualities. I think most of the teams are very offense-related, but I'm really pleased to see this one. This team looking good. And we bring up now Todd Helton will lead off now for Des Moines. A little bit of balance here to this team. Helton will bat first. Gooden with the 1-1. A deep fly ball to right center field. Aaron crashes into the wall. And Helton will get us double. Is Henry Aaron okay? Trainer is going to jog out to check Aaron, who got the ball back in the infield, and make sure he's okay. There's something of a synergy going on there with the Demons. Although they're off to a 0-2 start, there's something about them, a balance to them, and a cleanliness to them. I don't know what it is. Something medical, surgical about them in their defense. Here's Andrew Jones at the plate. Aaron is okay. Gooden gets the sign. Well, they're not going to pitch to Andrew Jones. So, interesting play here. They bring up Bobby Grich. Helton on second, Jones on first, Renteria on deck. So here's Bobby Grich. Struck out in the second, runners on first and second, and it is bunted, and Dunlap will have it as Bench Beer handed it to him. But Helton will get to third and Jones at second. Good, try not to give up a run here. And this team has got the fundamentals. That's one thing this team does have from Des Moines. Renteria steps in. Runners on second and third. Oh, here's the 0-2. Fastball. High, chop up the middle. Dunlap has it. Over to McGuire. But they get the lead runner. Or they get Renteria. But the run will score. Helton is on. And Des Moines go up 3-1. Brings up Ray Shock. Light-hitting catcher. From the right-hand side. Doc not looking too good today. Here's a 2-0. And Shock gets a bat on it. Dunlap goes to his right, gathers it in, and throw to first to retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We've played 4 complete. Des Moines 3, Detroit 1. Steve Carlton here already pitched 67 pitches. Concepcion will come in from the right-hand side, light-hand hitting shortstop for the Big Red Machine. Here's the 0-1 and a grounder straight back to Carlton. Carlton will throw over to Helton, and that's 1 away. You're watching this on broadcast. This is broadcasting my time at 12:34 a.m. So all of you guys in the North American continent gets a chance to see this and probably record it, the recording version of it, when you get back from work or you finish the chores or with the family. You get a chance to settle down and watch some baseball. Leading off is Wilmot. Walt Wilmot coming in from the right-hand side. He's 0 for 2 today. Fly to deep center field in the third. Here's the 1-2 from Carlton. And it's a base hit to right field. So Stanton will fire it back in. Wilmot is on base for Detroit. I see Steve was asking me a lot of questions yesterday about the lineup. And I'm looking at his lineup and it's similar. Insofar as it's not built like mine, but the 19th century players are at the top because of their hitting prowess. Very different to Des Moines, who only have, in fact, have no 19th century players in their lineup today. Here's Steve Carlton. Dunlap is waiting. Runner on first. Carlton looks at the runner and deals. And struck out Dunlap to beat Dunlap. That's good stuff. Carlton with his second strikeout today. Marquee pitching matchup today. Steve Carlton versus Dwight Gooden. We're in the 5th inning. Demons lead 3-1 over Detroit. Here's Barry Bonds 2 for 2 today. Carlton will fire over to first. Wilmot just gets back. Wilmot a threat to steal. Bonds, looking at Bonds' stats, he's got a 26.5% chance of a hit. 1 in 4 chance here. Carlton will keep the runner close. And Bonds hits a deep fly ball down the right field line. It will stay in the ballpark. Stanton will go over to the right and have it. So that's it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors after 4.5 innings. Des Moines 3, Detroit 1. So Detroit being held here. Here's Harlan Clift will lead off the inning. He walked in the third. Burns is on deck. Here's Gooden with the payoff, the 3-2 pitch. And he walks him. So Dwight Gooden not got his best command today. And this is his 85 season. Here's George Burns, the DH. Clift on first. Gooden with the first pitch, and a well-hit fly ball to right center field. And Joe DiMaggio will jog in and close his glove on the fly ball, and that's one out. Brings up Frank Robinson here. Des Moines looking for their first win of the season. Frank Robinson, one of their leaders. Gooden trying to get going here. 2-1 the count. As a grounder to short, Concepcion gloves it over to Dunlap. Dunlap to McGuire. 6-4-3 double play. Pitcher's best friend. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 5 complete, Des Moines 3, Detroit 1 in the Howie Shanks Bingo League. 2 teams going at it early season. Detroit, one of the favorites, versus the Demons. The Des Moines Demons, a defensively based team that's looking pretty good with an ace pitcher on the mound in Steve Carlton. We didn't see Steve Carlton actually in the season before. So we're looking forward to seeing him, and we're curious to see who is kept from season to season. Are we going to keep the keeper rule? So, here we go. Mark McGuire will lead off now for Detroit at the top of the 6th inning. McGuire is 0 for 2. McGuire flying out to left in the first, struck out in the third, and a deep fly ball down the left field line. It's gone. It hooked out. I thought it was going to go foul, and that is gone. Frank Robinson went back on it. It looked like it was hooking foul, but it just stayed in the ballpark. So Mark McGuire, this is his 1998 season, when he hit 70 home runs, has just hit a dinger out of Wrigley. So Steve Tate will be happy. 3-2 now is the score. Number 2 on the season for McGuire. So here is Carlton now just gathering himself. He's got his foot in the rubber. Now he's waiting for the sign from Schalk, and up steps Joe DiMaggio. 2-1 to count. Long fly ball to left, and that's up. And it's off the top of the ivy, and DiMaggio will going to stand up double. So now Carlton getting a little bit touched up. That brings up Hammering Hank Aaron. What a centerpiece. I mean, Bonds, McGuire, DiMaggio, Aaron, Bench. I mean, I've got some power, but that is power. But Carlton still leads 3-2, but there's nobody out here. DiMaggio's on second. Let's see what they do now defensively. This team is a whiz defensively. Aaron with the 0-2, and he hits one in the air towards center field. Jones is going back to the track. He has it. DiMaggio doesn't think about tagging up, and he will stay at second. That's an age 26 DiMaggio, not the one with the bad heel. Didn't take a chance there on Andrew Jones. This is what Des Moines does. Des Moines trying to hang on to the lead. Here we go. Johnny Bench 2 for 2, hit his second home run of the season out to left field, and it was a rocket. Carlton with 88 pitches. Here we go. Bench Schalk puts a sign down. Here's the 0-1 from Carlton. And a line drive to center field by Johnny Bench. DiMaggio will run home, and that is a tie ball game, folks. Detroit, showing their determination, resilience, and strength, have tied up the ball game. Bench with a stand-up double. That brings up the Negro Leaguer, Felton Snow. Snow steps in against Carlton. Concepcion is on deck. Here's the runner on second waiting. And it's a 3-1 to Snow, smash towards Renteria. But Edgar Renteria flashes that glove. And it's over to Helton. And Snow is retired. 2 out. Carlton just shows a little sign to Renteria in appreciation. Lefty pitched well so far today. Here's Concepcion, light hitting Concepcion, 0 for 2. Runner on second. Carlton is ready. Here's the 1-0. And a base hit up the middle by Concepcion. Bench will try to get home, and he will score easily as Jones does not throw. 4-3 Detroit. Johnny Bench scores. So the two members of the Big Red Machine combining there for Detroit. And that brings up Walt Wilmot, one of these players that Steve has dug deep for, coming from 1894. These 19th century players, they can sure bat and run. Carlton now looking towards the dugout. The dugout manager is nervously on the top of the steps, looks in, happy with Carlton. Runner on first. Deep fly ball down the left field line. And Frank Robinson raced back and he got under it to make the catch, to retire the side. So Wellsworth Gamer says, you were talking about your league format, and I'd say maybe have it where you could have at least protect one at each position. Keeping some of the old is more important to the league. Yeah, I agree. I think we'll definitely have keepers. I hope so. It does have that continuity. I know I'd keep some of mine. Knowing some of the seasons that come up for, say, Joe Morgan, I'll be very happy. And I think it does add continuity. Maybe 5 keepers, maybe? It does make it hard to administer, though, I must admit. So welcome into people who are going to see this later on, because I'm broadcasting on a different time zone. I did try earlier on where more people are around at lunch, your time. I think Steve's on Mountain Time. So here is Giancarlo Stanton now for the Des Moines Demons. Let's see if they can come back into this ball game. Doc Gooden, not being the greatest today. Here's the 0-2. But he will get a strikeout here. So Doc Gooden, excuse me, has got a strikeout. Bringing up Todd Helton is 1 for 2. Helton steps. He doubled and scored in the 4th. And he will get a base hit to right field. Excuse me. Bringing up Andrew Jones with power, but not much contact. Jones will bat from the right-hand side. I always like looking at Dwight Gooden when he looks in. That big, full stretch he goes into with a high leg kick. What an absolute beauty he was to watch. Good. Gets a sign from bench. Critch waits in the on-deck circle. They've got a shift on for Jones. Here's a 3-1. And he lost Jones. So, maybe Des Moines can get something going here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bobby Gritch at the plate. Bench now goes out to Gooden. Always a bad sign. Sign the pitcher is tiring. Crowd are booing. And Gritch will hit this down the line. One bounce to McGuire. They go to second for 1. No? Yes. Double play. Went to second free, back to first, and a double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 6 complete, Detroit have come back to lead 4-3 over Des Moines. Here we go. Not sure what's happening there, Wells. I hope you're okay. Here's Fred Dunlap here, batting .455. This man's going to tear up the league. Steve Carlton still pitching is on 99 pitches. Dunlap will lead off. He flied to center in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, and struck out in the 5th. Here's the 0-1 from Carlton. And he's ripped to center field, but right at Jones, who had played him perfectly. And that's 1 away. Nice day here at Wrigley Field. Nice and bright and sunny. There's a wind coming in from right field at 14 miles per hour. At Wrigley Field, the left-handers get an advantage in terms of average, but they lose some power. In terms of rights, and the home runs seem to lose power in this version of Wrigley, which is 2022 Wrigley. I thought it would have more for the pitchers, actually. He has a big effect on their power numbers. But here's Barry Bonds. There's nothing wrong with the Detroit Power today. Carlton will go into his windup. Line shot by Barry Bonds again, and Barry Bonds is on base. What version of Barry Bonds is this? 2003. I think I had this one as well last year. Good hitting from Barry Bonds. The OPS was 243. My God. He's going to be a beast. Here's Mark McGuire. It's 70 home runs in his real season. Bonds on first, McGuire at the plate. You couldn't think of two more controversial individuals on one team. Carlton will go into his wind-up here. Man on first. Full count. Up and outside, and that curveball is outside. And Carlton doesn't like that call. But McGuire will jog down to first. Brings up Joe DiMaggio. Jolting Joe DiMaggio. Love that song. Schock goes out to Carlton to check on him. Again, a bad sign. Carlton steps in. DiMaggio steps in. Man of one, first and second. Carlton is set. And here's the 1-2. And he strikes him out for his third strikeout. So neither Gooden or Carlton dominant today. But each hanging in there, pitching on guile. Here's Hank Aaron, 0 for 3 today. Hank Aaron batted .355 with 39 home runs in 1959 for the Milwaukee Braves. What a consistent career Hank Aaron had, the one-time, all-time home run leader. I mean, he had to hit so consistently over so many years to get to where he got to. I think sometimes overlooked and underrated, myself personally. Just looking at some comments here. I hear you, Wells. Here's Hank Aaron, 0 for 3. Ground to short, fly to center in the 6th. Carlton looks in. Schock sets the sign. Aaron swings his bat gently and waits. 2 men out. Runs on first and second. Here's the 0-2 from Carlton. Swing and a miss, and lefty gets him out. And Edgar Renteria now will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Des Moines Demons. Renteria 0 for 2, grounded to first in the 2nd, grounded to second in the 4th, but he did score Todd Helton. Renteria, in my opinion, the clutch hitter. Gooden with the 1-0. And a deep fly ball, but Hank Aaron has that covered. And that's one away. There's light hitting Ray Schock. Played for me in the Ned McGreevy League in the champion Red Bolts. In fact, he was platooned actually with Ted Easterly. Schock digs in. Here's the 2-1 from Duck. Hits it on the ground to the mound, picked up by Gooden, and a throw to first, and retires Schock. Brings up Harlan Clift, looking for big things from Harlan. He's 1 for 1. He's been walked twice. He lined a single to first. He's a man that makes things happen. Two outs, though. Clift waits. Gooden takes a sign from bench. It's a 3-2 count. Here's the windup and a fly ball to center field. I don't know where Joe DiMaggio was going, but Wilmot took the play. Did you see Joe? Joe was running off the field before the catch was even taken. That's a bit of the old Yankee arrogance there. And that brings up Johnny Bench now to the top of the 8th inning. Johnny Bench with 3 hits today. They say Carlton is fine. Oh my God. This is do I go with the AI or do I change things for... If they say if it's obvious, this is not necessarily obvious, I'll keep him in. Here's Johnny Bench, probably his last inning now been for Steve Carlton. He needs a triple for the cycle, Bench. And he's struck out, though. Lefty gets his 5th strikeout. He's been great seeing Steve Carlton today. I've not seen Carlton before in The Sims. It brings up Felton Snow, who is 0 for 3. So Detroit here looking to go to 3-0 on the season. Here's 0-2 now from Carlton. Snow hits this to right field past Bobby Grich. And Felton Snow will get on base. And that now brings up Dave Concepcion, who's 1 for 3 today. Carlton he's done a fine job so far. He's coming towards the end though. Let's have a look at that bullpen. It'll be unfair for me to tamper. Let's have a look. A lot of pitching here. Oh, the logical one to bring in is David Cone, 13.6. Nope, I won't interfere. I will let it play out. Let the computer do the changing. If the manager's in here, definitely let him manage. To set runner on first, 0-2 to count. Carlton kicks it to the inside corner and Concepcion is down. Now we got Carlton on 133. 6 strikeouts. He's got to come off. He's got to come out of the ball game, or do I leave him in one more pitch? Oh, God, this is a tough one. I've got to do the right thing. That's it. Leave him in there. Here's Walt Wilmot now, waiting. And, yep, the computer did what I thought. Here's David Cone. And Wilmot turns around now, so David Cone on the mound. And Snow is going. A pitch is a strike. Shock fires to second. And Felton Snow, with his first steal of the season, is now at second base. So we saw Steve Carlton pull from the game, got a wonderful round of applause, and he's taken over by David Cone. I had a choice to do it myself, but the AI actually did do the right thing. David Cone has the best stats. Here's Wilmot now coming up. Runner on second, 0-1 to count. Wilmot grounder to Bobby Grich, deep in the hole to Helton. Got him. So, Des Moines using that defense to keep them in the ball game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors after 7.5 innings. Detroit 4, Des Moines 3. Des Moines needs some offense here. Doc Gooden is looking like he's tiring on the mound. Rally time for George. Let's go. Gooden with the 1-0. Easy ground to third. Felton Snow has it. Across the diamond to Mark McGuire. 1 away. So Steve Tate has put together a decent fielding team here. No real weaknesses in the team. And you can't call a 70 home run Mark McGuire a weakness with a 6 rating at first. There's got to be a weakness in this team somewhere. I will find it. Here's Frank Robinson now. Come on, Frank, let's go. Hitting 182 with 1 home run, 2 RBI. He is the leader. Gooden looks in, gets set. Here's a 2-2 and a fly ball to deep center field. And just like I asked him to, Frank Robinson hits one out of here. Tater, see you later. His second home run today for Frank Robinson, showing Dwight Gooden where he can stick his baseball. That one is out of here. Hey, I did the right thing, World, you see? Yeah, I was worrying about that, to be fair. I'm like, oh my God, Worlds is in the bleachers here. This better go right. So I'm really pleased that went well. Nice shot, though, from Frank Robinson. So, Des Moines Demons doing well here, just to pull back one. They got some power. Have they got enough? Stanton steps in. Gooden should be coming out of there soon. Gooden goes into his windup. Here's the leg kick. And a deep fly ball down the left field line by Stanton. Wilmot's going back. And he's under it and he puts it away for the out. Doc Gooden living on borrowed time here. still on the mound. His pitching coach is leaning on the dugout barrier there, looking in on him. Bench may go out to see him. Here's Todd Helton, 2 for 3, dangerous hitter from the left-hand side. Ken Des Moines edge ahead here in the 8th. Gooden with the 2-0. Grounded that left-hand side. Felton Snow has it. Helton seemed to hustle there. Going to first. Good play by Felton Snow. The more we see these Negro Leaguers as well, we know the main ones, but Steve has managed to craft and blend in a nice little texture here of Negro Leaguers and all-time greats. And also non-all-time greats, but just great players with great seasons, you know. Might be just a one-off like my Bob Hazel. But Bob Hazel in 1957 had a terrific, like, three-quarter season. He's in the league. You know, it's great to see these players, not all Hall of Famers. Most of them are, or should be. Now, leading off now is Fred Dunlap. Curiously, only 0 for 3 today. There's David Cone, one of those New York Mets and New York Yankees, and I'm sure Cone played for the Kansas City Royals at one point. Here's Yo 2, struck him out. So David Cone in a relief role. Let's have a look at Cone. Cone does have a relief cross, so David Cone can pitch in relief. In the season he comes from, which is 1988, a season when he really burst onto the scene. He wasn't part of the 86 Mets, but he was part of the 88 Mets, which is a team which is almost as good as the 86 Mets. He went 20-3 with a 2.22 ERA and with an ERA plus of 1.49. So Cone looking good on the mound. And now he's got to face Barry Bonds with 1 out. Nobody on. As Detroit here in the 9th inning, trying to edge ahead again in this seesaw, well-pitched game. Bonds singled in the 7th. Cone is looking to shock. Here's the 1-1. The changeup. Hit on the ground towards third. Clift has it. And Clift didn't really pick it up, and Bonds is safe. And Bonds will be a threat to steal. And that brings up Mark McGwire, always a threat with the bat. Cone looks in to Shock. Shock will put the signs down. McGwire walked to the 7th. The runner is on first. No doubles defense set. Cone keeping first base close. And a 2-1 from David Cone. Fastball hit to left field. So McGwire gets on. Bonds will move up. Robinson picked up the ball in left. And here comes the Detroit Coyotes with Joe DiMaggio, 1 for 4 today, Joe. In the 2nd, did he fly deep down the right field line. In the 4th, he fly to deep right. In the 6th, he doubled off the wall in left. And in the 7th, he struck out. So Joe looking to do something here for Steve Tate's Detroit Coyotes. Cone waits. DiMaggio steps in. Aaron is up next. Men on first and second. Here's a 2-0. And a deep fly ball to center field. Jones going back to the warning track. But he has it. He puts it away, and Bonds will hold at second. Tight ball game. This is the Bingo League. April the 13th. We've had April the 11th done. 12th done. And here we are now with Hammering Hank, who's not had the hammer out today. He's 0 for 4. Cone waits, toes the rubber. Shock puts the signs down. Harron waits. The payoff pitch from Cone. And it's grounded to second to Gritch to Helton. Nice cutter there from David Cone. Cone looks good already, actually. Just got that feel for him. I'd have him. Well, he's missing piece. I like David Cone. So, nice use of David Cone there. And that brings up Dwight Gooden for the 9th inning. He's going for the complete game. But the game is still tied 4-4. I don't see the profit in Dwight Gooden coming to the mound. So let's see what Steve Tate would have done. I'm not going to make decisions for Steve. Well, I might. But he'll accuse me of sabotage. which I'd quite happily do. So I'm going to leave it in the AI's hands. Here's Andrew Jones, 0 for 1. They may change Gooden here. Jones will lead off. He can win it with a homer. Bottom of the ninth, 4 to 4. Jones hits it in the infield. Concepcion has it over to McGuire, and Jones not fast enough. One away. Detroit looking to contain Des Moines, who are trying to go for their first win. Don't want to start the season 0-3 in this league. And Ginger Beaumont's coming as a pinch hitter now. Gooden has an 0-2 to him, and Beaumont hits it up the middle for a base hit. So Ginger Beaumont coming as a pinch hitter, and Gooden is looking tired. I think they're going to pull him. So I can see the relievers are up at the moment. I won't make the change. Zach Britton, Reb Russell, Billy Wagner, and Ray Kremer are all in that bullpen. Looks like a strong bullpen. Or is it a weak bullpen? We shall see. Renteria steps up, 0 for 3. Are they going to keep Gooden out there or not? Yes, they are. Renteria grounded the first and the second, grounded out in the second, and he flied out to right in the seventh. He waits. No doubles defense. And there's a ball, and Ginger Beaumont will steal second as Bench fired it over to second base, not in time for Ginger Beaumont. So, runner in scoring position now for Des Moines. They've got one out, bottom of the ninth inning. Scores tied 4 to 4. Edgar Renteria, who scored famously in a World Series game, if I recall, for the Miami Marlins, or the Florida Marlins. His runner's on second. 1-0, grounded to short. Concepcion has it over to McGuire, and Renteria is out. The runner does not advance, and Gooden is still in there. So, Steve Tate, I'm not going to make any changes. Actually, I should. But I don't want to, because I might sabotage you. Let the AI play it out. Let the AI play it out. Here we go. I'm sure they'll change him. Come on, AI, come on. Steve, you may want to look at that. A pitch count on Gooden. 229 pitches. Although Dwight Gooden in the 80s did pitch too many times. Schalk should be an easy out, though, for Gooden. 2-0 to Schalk. Deep fly to right center field. Aaron's going back and safe. Safely caught by Hank Aaron there. So after 9 complete, the score is tied. Detroit 4, Des Moines 4. And now we need a change at second base. I'm going to put it in Negro. Both Negro Leaguers are there. Bonnie Searle is going to come on. This is in place of Bobby Grich. So David Cone has looked good today. Score is tied. Bench comes in 3 for 4 today. He has been a star. He had a solo home run off Carlton in the 4th, drove in a run with a double and scored in the 6th. 1-2 to Bench. Searle has it, and that's one away. Nice play by Searle. I just changed the screen ever so slightly to a full screen. You think you might see the pictures a little bit better. No. It looks nice, but no. I think Beatles and Steve play that way, but I play this way. Here we go. There's Felton Snow. I like the pictures, though. Here's Felton Snow. 1 for 4 today. Cone has looked very good on the mound in relief. Snow steps in. 2-0 count from David. Deep fly ball on the right field line. Giancarlo Stanton has it, and that's one away. 2 away. Detroit trying to edge ahead here. Tight ball game here at Wrigley. Nice bright sunshine at Wrigley Field. David Cone waits for Schalk. Schalk puts the target down. Concepcion struck out last time up. Here's the 2-1 up to Cone. Cone over to Helton, and they got him. No runs, no hits, no errors. David Cone looking good. After 9.5 innings, Detroit 4, Des Moines 4. Come on, Des Moines, let's see what you can do. Now, this is getting silly. I've got to take Gooden out. So, Steve, if you're watching, I cannot allow Dwight Gooden to stay out there. His arm is going to fall off. So, this is one of those cases. Unless you're in the chat, which I don't think you are. I hope you agree that I have no choice here. But you would do the same for me, and I know you would. Mound trip. No, preferences. So the manager here, in place of Steve Tate, that's me, is running out to check on Dwight Gooden. He's gone out to check on. He says Gooden might be tired. Let's have a look at Dwight Gooden here. He's pitched 9 innings, given up 7 hits, 2 home runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Good outing, but I don't think he's going to last. Looking up the lineup, I'm going to have to bring in someone here. He's got good relievers here. I'm going to bring in a true reliever. Zach Britton. Billy Wagner can wait. So Zach Britton's going to come in now. A lefty. He has a good stats against Harlan Clift. Zach Britton. These warm-up pitches. It's from 2016. This is his wheelhouse. He's got a 10 clutch rating. So Steve Tate doing his research. Harlan Clift waits. Des Moines trying to win it all. 1 run will do it. Clift waits. 1 for 2 today. Britton is ready. Bench will put the sign down. 1 and 2. And a deep fly ball to left field. This could go. This might go. Oh, what a catch by Wilmot in right field. I thought that was gone. That brings up the DH George Burns. George Burns, in his seasons, batted .358 with 4 home runs and 114 RBIs. Welcome into the broadcast. If you're watching at lunch, dinner, or you're on your way home, just listening. It's Des Moines Demons trying to break an 0-2 start to the season against the favorite and dreaded Detroit Coyotes. That's Steve Tate's Coyotes. Steve Tate does a wonderful job on these pictures and the admin, along with Big Clue and Beatles Eternally and so many wonderful members of the community and the wider community that come into the chats as well, like our Red Sox fan I've seen there, RGL Network. Just so wonderful to see everyone getting together. And the Howie Shanks Bingo League. Anyway, let's get back to the ball game. 1 man out. We're in the 10th inning here. Bottom of the 10th. Can Des Moines pull it off? Britton gets a sign from Sharp. Tioga George comes up against Britton. Here's a 3-1. Burns hits it to Dunlap, and Dunlap goes to his right, backhands it, and throws it to Burns. So that's 2 out. Zach Britton doing his job. The problem with the modern relievers, they don't go more than 1 inning, but we have Billy Wagner up our sleeve. I don't want to burn out Steve's pitches, though. Here's Frank Robinson, 2 for 4 today. Frank hit a home run last time we saw him. He's had 2 home runs today. Can he do it for Des Moines? Britton with the pitch. Low, and it's a ball 4. So Frank Robinson still has life, so he goes to first. It's Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton hit 59 home runs in his year. He's 0 for 3 today. Can he pull it off? Britton goes into his windup. 2-1 the count. And Stanton drives it deep. He's going to left field. It could be. It might be. It is not out. What an amazing catch by Wilmot. Oh my goodness. That went green. I thought that was out of here for a walk-off. No way. Wilmot, the who's coming up to bat now, pulled off an amazing play. So, if I wanted a comfort break, this is not the game to do it because it's now in extra innings. Way into extra innings. We're in the 11th inning now. 4-4, Detroit 4, Demons 4. The Detroit Coyotes have cranked out 13 hits. Cone has looked good. Here's Wilmot now, coming in for the left-hand side. I've got Dunlap is on deck. Here's a 2-2. Renteria has it on the one bounce. Got him. Go back to options. Go back to preferences. Go back to computer for Detroit. Here's Fred Dunlap, surprisingly, 0 for 4 today. Cone is masterful in relief here at the moment. Here's a 2-2. And Dunlap drives it to right center field. And Andrew Jones backpedals and reaches up like it was nothing. Him and Stanton converged there, but Jones took over. Andrew Jones, such a great player in center field. Will he make the Hall of Fame? Well, at the moment, Des Moines love him in center field. Brings up Barry Bonds. Wow, 4 for 5 today. Cone is going to have to deal with him. Bonds digs in. Here's the 1-1. And that's popped up to Bunny Cyril, the Negro League second baseman. And that's the end of the inning. Nothing across in the top of the 11th. After 10.5 innings, Detroit 4, Des Moines 4. This could go on all night. Here's Zach Britton now, hoping it doesn't. Todd Helton trying to win it for Des Moines. Helton will lead off. He gets something started here. 2-1 up the middle, and Concepcion flashes his glove over to McGuire, and that's one away. Nice to see a modern major leaguer on the line, on the field today. We've got Zach Britton. I hear you, World's Worst Gamer. I hear you. So Britton is commenting about Britton. Here is Andrew Jones from the right-hand side, 0 for 2. 2-2 to count. Struck him out. And the computer is asking to bring in Billy Wagner. Let's bring in Billy Wagner. So, Steve, if you're watching, or you will watch later on, I tried. Billy Wagner's in there, so showing off his strength of his bullpen. Bunny Cyril now up to bat for Des Moines. Cyril against Wagner. Here's a 3-1. And a roller to Concepcion, and Cyril is out. So nothing across in the bottom of the 11th after 11 complete. Detroit 4, Des Moines 4 in this tight ball game, extra inning ball game. David Cone is looking masterful on the mound in relief for Des Moines. McGuire up 0-2 to McGuire. Ground ball down to third. Clift over to first. Got him. Arlen Clift hardly had to move at third. And that brings up Joltin' Joe DiMaggio, 1 for 5 today. So between Steve Carlton and David Cone, they've mastered DiMaggio. But it is Joe DiMaggio. He digs in. Aaron is on deck. Cone takes the sign from Shock. Here's a 2-2 line drive to left center field on a base hit for Joltin' Joe. Detroit trying again, chipping away, trying to get to Cone. Cone showing his strength. This is 1988. Cone. Shock goes out to talk to him. Outfield is normal. No doubles defense. Count is even. 1-1. The pitch to Aaron. Fastball. Grounded to Cyril at second. Could be a double play to second for 1. But no throw to first. So Aaron is safe. Looking at Bonnie Cyril, one of the Negro Leaguers that's in this league. If I remember correctly, we had 2. Is it 2? I had to choose 2 Negro Leaguers. And I got Josh Gibson and Martin DeHijo. How lucky is that? Here we go. Johnny Bench now. had a great game here. Needs a triple for the cycle. Runner on first. Cone looks to the run. He's set. Here's the 0-2. Cutter. Bench swings and misses. David Cone looking good. No runs, 1 hit, no errors after 11 and a half innings. Detroit 4, Des Moines 4. This game is locked. It is totally locked. Bringing up Edgar Renteria now 0 for 4. Renteria will lead off. Let's get something for get started, Edgar. 1-0 from Wagner and a base hit for Renteria. So Des Moines stubbornly still in this ball game, trying to get a home win here. Detroit stubbornly not letting it happen. Shock. It seems a long time ago when they had the lead, Des Moines, and Detroit took over, and then Des Moines equalized, brought it back to a tied ball game. In Britain, this would have been a draw, and they start all over again. Here's Ray Shock, 0 for 4. Tight ball game. Here's Billy Wagner. No doubles defense. Wagner keeps around the runner at first. Here goes Renteria down to second base. Stolen base for Des Moines. Bench fired it down, not in time. Shock backs out of the batting box, goes back in, has a conversation with Johnny Bench. Wagner getting ready to unleash his thunderbolts here. Renteria, though, is in scoring position. They just need something here to end this ball game. Man on second. Wagner with a 2-1 fly ball to center field. DiMaggio goes back. There's no tag up for Renteria. And that's one away. Harlan Cliff's going to have to do something here from third base. Harlan Cliff coming in from the left hand, from the right hand side. He's lined to single in the center field in the first. He walked in the third, walked in the fifth. He flied out to center field in the seventh. And in the 10th, he flied deep down the left field line. Shame to see a loser in this ball game, but one of them has to lose. And one has to win. Des Moines trying to open up their ledger in the win column, or win column in the ledger. Here's Cliff at the plate, runner on second. 3-0 to count. High and tight from Wagner, and Cliff will get to first. So, it's set up for Burns. No bunt for Des Moines. And I'm wondering, this is too crucial. I can't interfere with the strategy, but I'm hoping Burns can bunt. Let's have a look here. No, he can't. At this stage, would you bunt? No. Well, I would definitely change the hitter. Burns 1 for 4. He's at the plate. Not much strategy going on here. A base hit could bring on the run. Crowd on the edge of their feet. 2-0 to count. And he hits it up the middle. Dunlap has it to Concepcion. And they can only get one. So Dunlap backhanded it. Stepped on second. But could not get it over to first. So Renteria's at third. Burns at first. And it's Frank Robinson who's already hit 2 home runs in this game. This is it, surely. They can wrap it up here with Frank Robinson at the plate. Billy Wagner. Wagner versus Robinson. Robinson versus Wagner. Here we go. 4-4. Demons looking to get this game wrapped up. Bench goes out to Wagner. Steve Tate is frothing at the mouth. Here we go. Robinson steps in. He's walked in the 10th. Runners in first and third. Wagner checks around 3-2 count. Deep fly to center field. Ball game! A third home run by Frank Robinson. Des Moines Demons 7. Detroit Coyotes 4. Wow. Home run by Frank Robinson. And just in case Steve Tate didn't see that, can we replay that? No. Let's see some reaction there from World's Worst Gamer. World's, wasn't that worth it? What a ball game, World. What a ball game. Tight ball game. Frank Robinson, walk-off, at the fence home run. That was what, 3 home runs. 3 home runs. Look at that ball game. That was a hell of a ball game. Hell of a ball game. I'm glad I waited to do this one. Bench 3 for 6. I'm sure he had to. Let's have a look at that. Let me catch my breath. Woo. Maguire hit a home run. Bench hit a home run. But Des Moines, who I really liked in the game, Frank Robinson went 3 for 5. That was awesome with 3 home runs. Wow, Gooden went 9 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, only 4 strikeouts. Say only, it's an all-star league. Billy Wagner will take the loss. Zach Britton came in, did okay. But Billy Wagner gave up the big one. Wow, what a wonderful game. So that updates the charts a little bit. So I will go to scheduled games. Catch my breath for a second. That game was the 13th. And what a game that was. That was the game right there. Cole looked fantastic in the game. Yeah, Des Moines looked really good there. Hung in there, great defense. Frank Robbins is going to carry them, isn't he? So, let's see. That's all done. Arlington Badlands. This has all happened. Right, good. So we now go to the next day, which is Tuesday. And what I will do, we'll look for the matchups that might, because I'm going to end it here. I'm not going to do another one tonight. But I'll hand over the baton to Beatles Eternally. We're just looking for the great matchups to broadcast. So, let's start here. We'll do it one by one. Wow, I really need to catch my breath. That was awesome. So the 14th, Des Moines versus Arlington. Vida Blue versus Mort Cooper. And Des Moines get their second win. Mort Cooper of a victory over Vida Blue. That's Robbie Wardberg's for Arlington. Now we've got Juan Marichal versus Jack Taylor. Please, Manchester, please get a win. And another loss. Jesus. Cy Morgan, sorry for my blasphemy, takes the loss. So, that's not looking good for us. Detroit, Cleveland, Saberhagen. So, Brett Saberhagen coming from 1989 season versus Smokey Joe Wood. We'll auto that. And Detroit, 7-1. Hawaii Badlands, Johnny Antonelli versus Barry Zito. Hawaii takes it 9-6. And then finally, Des Moines, who are playing a doubleheader at Arlington. It says the same starters, but that can't be. Yeah, it can't be, it wasn't. Des Moines go ahead 3 to win the series. 12-0 on that one there. Looking at highlights so far, before I hand over. Just getting through the season here. Not in one go because I'm stopping now. So I did a few games. Manchester next Mudville. Cleveland, Detroit, Gibson, Brown. Verlander, Tiant looks like a good game, I think. But I'll let Beatles decide that one. So some highlights so far. Jersey hit 5 home runs. Silver King had 9 innings pitched in his win. Ray Schalk, 3 hits. Frank Robinson, we just saw, 3 home runs. Russ Ford, 9 innings pitched. Albert Bell has had a 4-hit day. Shane Bieber has had 10 Ks. That's really good for Mudville. Badlands, 18 hits. Nice. Dick Ellsworth, 9 innings pitched, only 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. Great. Spud Chandler, even my guy's up there. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits. We're off to a bad start though, right at the bottom of the league. Mordecai Brown, they're looking good. Mordecai Brown again. Spud Chandler again. Or is that the same one? Same one. That's interesting. Why has it got that both there? Okay, it was different. Hecka took a loss. No, he didn't. Didn't do well there. So we're off to a really shocking start for us. Anyway, that's the league so far. So thank you very much for those of you joining later on. You were in. Hope you enjoyed that one we just did. It was a hell of a ball game. Thank you very much, Wells. That's really appreciated. Thanks for hanging in there as well. Much appreciated, my man. Really appreciated. I hope you had fun as well, because I did. I'm sorry, yeah, I make some good moves. I thought they could have taken Goodnut a little bit sooner, but they did do the right moves after that. And Des Moines, wow, Des Moines, they look pretty good. So, thank you. So I will catch up. So what I need to do now is save it. So I'll do that now and shut down. But so far so good. Mudville is leading the league.